Swamp Thing, Green Hell, issue 3, Jeff Lemire writing with Doug Mankey on the art. So this did not take almost 2 years to come out after issue 2, I'm happy to say.
Nope.
I think it was like a year and a half between the first 2 issues, right?
Something like that, yeah. So, I mean, clearly, obviously, it's something catastrophic happened that delayed it for a long time.
It's interesting because I'm sure both of these two, Lemire and Mankey, respectively, have been working on other things in the meantime, right?
You think Lemire has stuff coming out all the time.
Lemire definitely has.
Yeah, but writers always
done other stuff in the last year, right?
I mean, writers always have like multiple things going, and Lemire's no different. If anything, you have to assume it's more on Mankey's side that for whatever reason this had to be pushed so long.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like a contractual thing where, oh shit, he's obligated to do something else and he can't push it, so
maybe
they have to wait on this or something. I don't know. But the big thing last issue was they went to see Maxine, or Constantine went to see Maxine, Animal Woman, as she's now known as, to try and get some backup for Swamp Thing, because we got the green and the red with the Raw attacking the world with all the monsters. And a lot of this issue is that, you know, those fights. It's Swamp Thing struggling, barely surviving, seeing Teffy's little girl, but it's really the girl who's on the island that's been in the story. Right. All that stuff. And just some gorgeous art when things really go down, because it's all about convincing Maxine to show up and help, which she does. But that's not his only plan. He's got one last Hail Mary, and that's to basically make a new deal with the demon that he did owe his soul to, and be like, I'll finally give it to you, but you have to you have to superpower Swamp Thing. You have to give him all your power so that he can win the fight.
Just loving that the demon first tells him no because you're Constantine, and I know you got a trick up your sleeve. That was, again, someone that hasn't read a lot of Constantine, but from what I know, that might be the most, spot on description of Constantine, that not even the devil will make a deal with him.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense that Constantine ultimately will sacrifice himself to save the world, because it's the fitting end for him. But it does work, and it's super chargy Swamp Thing. He goes from being the skinny version of Swamp Thing to being this monstrosity version of Swamp Thing,
which tells a lot about me, right? I love Bigfoot and big hairy monsters, So the fact that this emaciated skeletal Swamp Thing creeps me out more than almost anything else in this book, right? It just looks wrong. It gives me the creeps. But
then once obviously the demon gives him his power, it's the opposite, where he's like
boosts him.
He's super huge and all the rest of it. I love the double page spread when Maxine shows up to help fight as well. They went super animalistic with the the
power of the red.
Yeah, she's almost just like Cheetah without the print.
The more she uses the powers, the more bestial she appears. Yeah, right, which is a nice touch. Also, I don't know if we brought this up before, but I shouldn't have been surprised that this is essentially Lemire finishing the whole Rot World story.
Yeah, I mean, I think we said that last time when
okay.
Yeah, because the idea of him bringing in the red, because he's talking about the green, and he's bringing in an Animal Man character to sort of wrap that side of things up. Yeah, it very much is kind of like it's basically his what's that? When Bendis came back and did that one Daredevil story.
The end. No,
it wasn't called the end. It was like
no. What was that? It's really good.
I think we all know the story.
Yeah, we all know what I'm talking about.
It's like an 8-issue mini, right?
Yeah, so he came back years after he did his run and did this mini that sort of was
End of Days.
So it's like, or the Dark Knight Returns for Batman. It's meant to be this kind of capper to come back and do the end of Swamp Thing, the end of Alec Holland. I
think this one's slightly more interesting than either of those. Not that I'm saying those two are bad books or anything. This is an ending to a specific story.
Yeah.
As opposed to all of Swamp Thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, and that's what I mean. So they're playing with the ideas where the whole crux of during Snyder's Swamp Thing and Lemire's Animal Man is that the Parliaments are kind of gotten out of control. They've lost their touch to humanity, and here is that end game. What does the Earth look like when they finally are just no, we're done with humans. We don't want it at all. And but humanity has that spark. where's that compassion and hope come from? And of course, it's this little girl that believes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this boils up to the point where after they win the fight, they go back to their respective, like, red and green, and like kill the parliaments and be like, no, you're starting again. Like, we're done with this shit. And the ending being the little girl, like, so the old guy with the golf club like comes to save her from one of the great looking monsters. Looks great. It's this purple, pinky, like blobby thing,
spidery, lobstery thing.
But he dies, so they actually like they have his golf club sticking out of his grave at the end. I thought that was really funny. But she like she touches the grave and like the green and the flowers like blossom from it, and it's like oh shit, she's got Swamp Thing powers or something. She's like
well, and to me, I read that as the parliaments are gone now, and that the green and the red are now amongst the people. It's where they belong, right? It's more of like a return to nature.
I got maybe it was like Alec Holland was gonna, as the last bastion of the green without the parliament, so to speak.
He gave her power,
Gave it to her.
Yeah. I sort of took it as that as well, and it kind of makes sense that she can help rebuild some of the earth by actually literally giving it life and be like, hey, here's life can flourish now again. So I liked all that stuff. I liked the monsters have always looked great ever since they started showing up in issue 1 of this. The fighting looks great as well. I think inherently this issue is probably the least like tantalizing one because it's just finishing everything off. Like there's some great ideas in here. Constantine like sacrificing himself. That's a really great idea.
All the stuff, all like that back and forth between him and Deadman was cracking me up.
Yeah. But I think the first issue was so good, and I think probably my best of the 3, just because it was introducing all these ideas, and you had the evil Swamp Thing that the Parliament sent.
It was a little bit unexpected as well. Right? Like we didn't know what that was going to be going in.
There was a sense of dread and ominousness going on
and then it was nearly 2 years of building that up in your mind.
Yeah.
For the next issue.
But no, I mean that.
The way that
I was gonna say that 2-page spread where Swamp Thing is like supercharged right after the powers come up through the earth, and he's and he looks like I don't even know. He looks like a kaiju. He's like kaiju Swamp Thing, like taking on all these monsters.
Yeah.
Yes, please give me that book too. Right? Kaiju Swamp Thing.
It's very colorful because they're all different colors. Like he's green. There's like flames behind him, which is orange and yellow, and then around like all the other monsters are all like purples and yellows and like dark blues.
Yeah.
An explosion. It's a color explosion.
It's a gorgeous book.
Oh, I was talking about Doug Mahnke being the perfect artist for this because like when I think back to his Green Lantern core stuff and
he did a lot of just on the colorful aspect. He did all like different cores back in those days.
Yes, I was gonna say but he also does like the shadowy, creepy stuff. So, like the creatures here, and I just remember his drawing of Crib from Green Lantern, just a complete monstrosity.
Point out here as well. There's David Barron is the colorist doing a lot of the heavy lifting in those elements specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I loved even just the panels of when they're traveling down to their parliaments to like destroy them. There's these like panels of like it's like so there's one for Swamp Thing and one for Maxine, and it's basically just like they're flying through lightning, but green lightning for Swamp Thing, and it's like red lightning for her. I mean, maybe it's like it looks like lightning. Maybe you could argue it's actually roots or blood veins and vessels for her because it's the red.
Either way, art is killing it. We obviously see Sean Moll is a co-artist on this. I don't know how much they're contributing. I don't know what the split is here. I'm not entirely sure
because it looks like Mahnke most of the time. Like I didn't notice any big shifts.
I didn't notice switching between artists. I don't know if it's a case of maybe they were kind of finishing off some of the pencil. Yeah, like if Mankey's doing the pencils and they're crediting it that way instead of an inker, perhaps.
Well, because Mankey usually also him and Gleason both ink their own work usually, so maybe it was just to help out there too.
And if it is just straight up fill in on some pages, then they've done a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah, because I can't see it at all.
Because I cannot like tell you, this page is this artist and that page is another one.
Right.
Yeah, so, I agree.
Huge credit for that.
I think it's really good. Obviously, it's the happy ending for Swamp Things. He gets to go back to his green afterlife with Abby and Teffy. So
Right.
You know, he gets his happy ending. Maxine presumably just still alive, where she was before.
As the Red, as a member of the Red, that makes sense. You know, it's the living Parliament.
So
I also like how they kind of dismiss the Rot. They're like, the Rot's nothing without us. They'll follow our lead.
They'll behave.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
It was kind of like, we did all that once before with Rotworld. You know, don't worry about it.
It was basically like, you know, like they need. And it's the same argument that Constantine kind of gives the demon. Is like, hey, if the world survives and that's still a pipeline for more souls, like, you know,
you kind of win either way.
Yeah. So the Rot's the same. The Rot needs life to be there in the first place, so that there can be something to rot.
Yeah.
So it makes some amount of sense. But it was really good. Like, you know, as much as I'm saying like neither issue 2 or 3 was as amazing as the first issue, that's not to like put it down or not say that this is a great big, you know, 150-page story ultimately, all when it's all put together.
Yeah, give or take, this will probably be the same length-ish as your average 6-issue trade.
Yeah, probably just a little bit over.
Yeah. That's what I said, give or take.
Yeah.
So they'll still make another great trade for DC's bookshelf.
This and Ram V's, I need to go and read the Alan Moore Swamp Thing finally. Like, just because I feel like that's a gap that I have. And now I have, you know, the end of this story.
It's very much the foundation for what a lot of modern Swamp Thing writers, like, they've clearly all read that run and they're clearly pulling from it and using that as their
like,
basis.
And the inclusion of Tefe here in, you know.
And in the same way that, I mean, Batman's obviously more widespread, but like every modern Batman writer has read year 1. They just have. All right, Matt, rate Swamp Thing Green Hill.
8.5.
8.5. Connor?
Yeah, I'll go with 8.5 as well.
I will also concur with the 8.5, yes.
Boom, jackpot.
All around.